Team Canada has officially played all 5 of their exhibition games in this year's FIBA World Cup. They only won 3 out of the 5, but there are multiple reasons for that. They lost their very first game to Germany, but then played them again just a few days later and beat them in overtime. Both of those games were in Germany too, and you could tell they wanted to win for their fans. Then they beat New Zealand by over 30 points and even beat Spain in Spain just like Team USA did. They also lost their final warm-up game to Karl Anthony Towns' Dominican Republic. But Team Canada didn't even play their starters in the second half, so that definitely played a part. They let some of the younger guys get minutes and allowed the main guys to get rest before entering pool play. Canada hasn't dominated their competition like some people expected, but they have been able to come out on top in some extremely close games. And being able to finish games is one of the most important parts. The highest Canada has ever placed in the FIBA World Cup was 7th, in 1994. In the last World Cup in 2019, they literally came in 21st. So this is the first time ever that Canada is actually expected to compete for the gold. And if we're being real, even if they don't win the whole thing, a top 3 finish would still be amazing. That would mean they were better than any Canadian team that has come before them, and it would be a major step in the right direction. Several players have been performing extremely well, but gilgeous-alexander has been their main guy. Which isn't a surprise because we've already seen him do stuff like this before. He's been playing with Team Canada since he was playing for their under-18 squad, and it kinda shows. Shea's had multiple huge games already against New Zealand and Spain, so they will definitely look to rely on him during the actual tournament. He's basically going to give you 20 and 5 every game. There were rumors that Jamal Murray was going to be joining them late, but has officially announced that he won't be playing, which doesn't really surprise me at all knowing he's coming off a championship, but it does still suck to see. He would have been a major addition, and the backcourt between him and Shea would have been incredible. Either way though, the team still has several really solid players. RJ Barrett has been another key contributor who's been able to make an impact on both offense and defense. He was literally the reason they won their second matchup against Germany. He scored 2 extremely clutch baskets with just 30 seconds left in the game to tie it, then was one of the leading scorers in overtime. Germany isn't a bad team at all either. It's not like they were a team that they should have blown out. He doesn't seem afraid of the moment really at all, and they're gonna need that later on. Now I have to give credit to somebody I slightly underestimated, and that's Kelly Olynyk. I never said anything bad about him, but I didn't realize he was gonna be as impactful as he really is. He's one of those dudes that knows his role in the NBA, but then turns into a completely different player during FIBA. He has already had several clutch moments while going up against multiple bigs every game. As average as he seems in the NBA, he has a very high basketball IQ, so I have to give him credit. Lou Dort and Dillon Brooks both have the perfect game and build for FIBA style basketball. They both can be excellent defenders and will contribute on offense. The main thing is they can both play off the ball and they don't really care if they score or not. Shea is looking for buckets anytime he's on the floor, and so is RJ, so when you have them, scoring isn't really what the team needs. And that's why they fit so perfectly. Dwight Powell plays really well when he's not in foul trouble and is someone the team kinda needs. Their paint defense is sometimes weak, and he can also really contribute off the glass. Players off the bench like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Melvin Ejim, and Kyle Alexander have all played pretty well. They've all had their moments, and even Zach Edey's gotten minutes as well. Their bench unit could definitely be worse. In Canada's first game against Germany, you could tell they were getting used to each other and honestly just didn't look like they were trying all that hard. But with it being the very first game of 5 exhibition games, I don't really blame them. Then it really was nice to see them get a huge win over New Zealand. It was close at the beginning, but that turned into a blowout soon after the first quarter. Their next 2 games after went into overtime, and they were able to come out on top during both, so that's a good sign. You obviously don't want to go into overtime, but putting yourself in close game situations before the tournament even starts could help them a lot going forward. Regardless, they are 2 very big wins, and they prove to a lot of people that they're a team to take serious, because I still think we've yet to see them truly clicking on all cylinders. Once pool play officially starts, I think you'll see another version of this team. They obviously aren't as stacked as the USA team, but that doesn't mean that they're completely out of it. Like I said earlier, even a top 3 finish would be huge for Canada. They would at least get some type of medal and can set the stage for future teams. The countries that are favorited to win the whole thing are the United States, Canada, France, Serbia, and Spain. But if you're looking at the sportsbook odds, they are heavily leaning towards the United States, so we'll just have to see. They play their first pool game on August 25th against France, who are one of the best teams in the tournament. Also, every game is going to be extremely early because they're playing across the world. All these times are in Eastern, so you will have to convert them. It's going to be a morning game for me at 9:30 a.m. and the next game is even earlier. On the 27th, they play against Lebanon at 5:45 a.m., which is a pretty specific time for such an early game. Then they play their final game on the 29th against Latvia. I expect them to go at least 2-1, which would still put them in a very good spot. Every game will be streamed on ESPN or ESPN+, but I'm sure there will be other streams out there somewhere. Comment down below how you feel about the Canadian team so far and what place you think they'll finish in. Please like the video for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel for more basketball content just like this.